Alright, this is part 3. Let's open this up, and the first thing we're going to be doing is making a front walk cycle. And I think one of the last things we'll be doing will just a different type of walk, and if we have time, maybe one more thing, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, go ahead and open up this front cycle start file. And once I get back over into Flash here it is. I just did want to show you guys one thing that I didn't actually demo in the last lesson, but I did include in the finished file. I was just playing around and wanted to see how this guy would how he would look if we actually motion tweened the entire running symbol and just sent it across the stage like so. And I think it came out pretty good, so let me just I'm gonna slow down the frame rate and publish this real quick. So let's watch him run across, and definitely feel like that's a good cycle. Feels like he's kicking off the ground. He's running at a good clip through there. And if you want to see the real version, of course, the proper frame rate, that is available for you in the last folder, part 2. Okay, so on to something new. Go ahead and open up again the start file for this. Same kind of deal before. I'm laying out the parts for us to use. The shoes are getting cut off a little bit here, and we'll probably make maybe a couple more as we in between this guy. And actually, the first thing we will do is set out his 4 key poses. And yeah, then again, just work on the tweens. And I hope I'm not beating a dead horse with all the kind of same concepts over and over again. But you know, really, there's not a lot different than what we've already done. You know, obviously the arms are going to swing conversely again. They'll bend up a little bit like this toward the middle if you want. Of course, that's definitely your call. And the legs are bending in the same fashion. So we're just going to lay it out here. Hopefully, as quick as possible. And yeah, let me just reiterate one more time that I think I can show you guys these things over and over again, and and I think after a while you're going to be getting less and less out of it. Really, the key here is just practicing on your own, getting a feel for it, and once you get kind of the general sequence of everything down in your head and the similarities between every one of these walk cycles, then it's all about striking out on your own and figuring out subtle things you can do to really finesse it and own each animation. So let's go ahead and I'm going to close this and just switch over to progress number 1, and that's where we'll begin. So let's do it. So let's go ahead and do the opposite pose to this one with the legs and arms in the opposite positions. I'm going to lay out 12 frames out this way, okay, and like I said, I don't know, frame 6 maybe, or 7, we'll see. I'm going to flip this guy around a little bit. And of course, when I kind of practiced this beforehand, I thought it was going to look a little bit better if we did a few different chest poses right here. Or more, really, it's just his vest that we're changing around. So one of the first things I will do is go to Modify, Swap Symbol. And let's look for chest, yeah, vest, I should say. Alright, so we're going to knock that, kick that over to this side, and obviously this arm now looks a little bit funky. It looks like it needs to be in that back position. One thing we could try doing is just selecting this and this, and then let's do this. First thing we'll do is we'll bring them both to the front, and then flip them horizontally. Alright. Back that way some. In fact, just so it's not identical each time, we'll put that one a little bit further back. And actually, overall, we're seeing more of the left side of this guy, because I'm not going to rotate the head or flip it to the other side. So you can see from the angle of this nose right here, we're clearly seeing just a bit more on this this left side. So as this guy switches his arm positions, it would make more sense for us to be able to see less of that arm. And I'm going to flip this this collar horizontally as well. I'm going to rotate it just a little bit. And then let's of course take this tie and swing it over to the other side. And you know what? I'm going to swing the front part here, but this other part I'll kind of leave on that other side. Let's see. Go back and forth. See how that looks. Probably okay. I did leave this this little bit of his shirt hanging out. That's a symbol of its own, so we can play around with that somewhat too. Just move that oh so slightly. And as for his head, just give it a little bit of a tilt over there. And you know what, let's go ahead and just select at least the whole top half and just move it just a little bit. There we go. So we kind of always keep that in a little different position. Alright, as for the legs, you know what, I bet we could probably get away with a similar thing we did before. So let's just go ahead and flip them horizontally. You know what, I forgot to grab that shoe. This was a little last-minute decision on my part to add this little bit of the top of the shoe coming up here. I'm going to zoom in on it, and I'll show you why a little bit later. But just note that that is a different piece. Looks like I forgot to grab that too. By the way, very simple shapes here, nothing too complicated. I know though, for those of you that are kind of non-artists, even the simplest of shapes are kind of boggling, but trust me, they weren't too hard to make. And I think you can make them on your own. Alright, all I did there is I just sent this piece out a little bit like that. And you know what? This shadow of mine it needs to be sent to the back. I think I have it above one of the, yeah, there it is. It was above the foot a little bit. It's making it hard to select. Okay, so let's take a look. I think we got everything there. Although, you know what, let's do this. Let's bring this 1 foot forward some, and if you want, you could even probably scale it up a little bit. I'm going to take it up to about 105% of what it was at before. And same deal with this foot. I'm going to make that a bit bigger. In fact, you know what, I'm going to zoom in some and catch it just a bit more. Move that up. And the cool thing about this is as I end up sliding this foot back, what I'll end up doing is just removing this and then doing something like this with the leg, and it will kind of give the impression is that from the perspective we're viewing this guy, that that foot is sliding back a bit more, and then we start to see more of the top of the shoe versus when that little piece is still on. It looks like we're almost looking at it straight on. So yeah, there we go. And of course, don't forget to change the hand positions every so often. Kick them back there. If you wanted to be an even better animator, you could of course use a completely different symbol than just the ones I keep using over and over again, but it's okay. All right, so we got that. And by the way, you know, I am not without my own reference here in the studio, my dirty office. But yeah, I got tons of books on animation. A lot of them are kind of old. A great reference, though, is a book called, what is it? Cartoon Animation. That's a book by Preston Blair, and you know the work in it does seem like a little dated now when you look at cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory, or I mean South Park. That's even wilder, off the mark. They rarely do I guess this type of keyframing animation, but I mean even something like The Simpsons seems very like kind of modern compared to some of the sketches in that book, and a lot of what you'll see is I'm just going to grab the paint bucket tool and draw something like a quick sketch. Would be something like let's see, here would be like a circular body, and you know, a foot kind of wildly coming up here and then back like this. That would be like the foot. This would be that front foot, and let's see, you'd have like a kind of an arm here, and like So these very exaggerated poses is the thing I'm trying to draw over here. But yeah, something like this, and a lot of curving like this, and it seems very like I don't know, it's old school, I kind of think, and it's of course it's all great stuff, but just to compare it to the animation that's going on today, I don't know. I look at it as a reference. It's great. It gives you kind of the I guess the extreme poses you would find, and but you know, as I was kind of preparing this tutorial, I found that I wasn't doing things like that, and I was more leaving arms kind of subtle like this, where it's just, you know, there's not a lot of a change in this. I'm certainly not taking the arm and doing something like this and buckling the hand in there. And of course, that's not to say that it wouldn't look good, but it didn't kind of feel like my thing. And so I guess my lengthy speech here is that everybody just kind of has a style of their own, and that style just it wasn't fitting me for teaching this lesson. So I guess I'm just kind of departing a bit from quote book animation, and but you know, hey, pick up a book. Certainly, that's a really if you go to any sort of animation school, the first thing they'll tell you is grab that book. It's again by a guy named Preston Blair, and it's all over Amazon. There's plenty of other websites dedicated to honoring that book. So anyway, let's go ahead and put a keyframe in the middle here, and again, same deal. Since this is right here is one of our more stretched out poses, the feet are more separated, so of course his whole body mass is downward. So let's go ahead and just bring him up some. Okay, probably don't have to bring him up too far. And what we will do here is straighten out this leg. And I think now, versus my last file with this, I have a better setup for swapping these symbols in and out, but we will see. Alright, so let's look for a straighter leg. I think that is leg 3. And there we go. That worked out pretty nice. Okay, let's do this. Let's bring it in just a bit more. And actually, you know, I'm going to take this leg and put it in back of this kind of bottoms here. So just go to send backwards. If you got a hotkey, if you want to start using a hotkey for that, that's a nice one because you can just kind of tap a few times with the directional arrows. You know what, for the life of me, I can't remember if I'm using a default hotkey for that or if it's one that I've set up on my own. So just as you're surfing through whatever this is set up to, that is your hotkey. I can't guarantee you it's the same as mine. Let's see how quickly you can go through things. And here we go. This is kind of what I was talking about. If we pull this down, and in fact we could either take this off entirely or just maybe send it down like this a little bit more. It should end up kind of looking like it's slipping off into the distance some. Let's see. I scaled both legs. So what I'm going to do is actually bring that forward again. Okay, that's probably good. Obviously, there's a lot of foreshortening going on because certain objects in this animation are moving away from us each time this guy turns. Okay, so this is, of course, a different leg position. I'm going to delete that one off, and this back foot is lifting off the ground. Probably make it a little bit bigger. I'll go to 105 with it. Alright, so let's look at the two positions. And I have kind of just this middle vest position, and that's what I'm going to switch out to right now, this vest 2. And at this point, let's do this. Let's even out these arms a bit. So what I'm going to do is shrink this one just a tad, and then I'm going to send it backwards behind the body. Then I'm going to copy this, flip it horizontally, and put that over there. You know what, I think both at these points could actually be a little bit smaller. Well, I don't know. let's see, what position are we coming from here? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the collar, just flip it over this way. And let's move all this stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to get a feel for what I'm doing here. All right, let's move this little piece, maybe even scale it up just a little bit like that, and let's rotate it out to the side some, to kind of give the feeling that it's just flapping up a little bit. Obviously, this one foot is getting raised up, so that would make sense. And tilt that one hand in some, actually both of them. And let's see. All right. So yeah, you should get the feeling for it now. But this, as the arm goes back like this, I'm just kind of arcing the hand in, and then as it starts to come forward, it's like kind of more straight right there. And then as it's forward like this, it's just curving out that way. And by the way, I haven't actually decided if I like going to these hand positions or these arm positions that are buckled in, or I guess angled in like that. So what we'll do is bent is the word I was just looking for. What we will do is I'm going to try to go through this and get his key poses in here without using those, and then we'll decide what looks better as we start to animate them out. So again, we're going to leave those alone for right now. But even you know, 3/4 of our key poses, and I feel like he's got a good little stride going to him. All right, so let's put a keyframe out here, and what is that? Frame 10. That'll work for us. Actually, in fact, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just copy this one frame. I'll cheat it a little bit. Oops, I copied again. Double copy. Go back. Okay. And we will switch out these positions. Sometimes that'll work out well for you, sometimes it won't. Definitely won't work out too good if you forget to grab everything. I'm flipping that back the other way. Let's see. Starting to regret putting that shadow on the same layer as everything else. Let me move it down. In fact, you know what? Let's put it. There we go. Okay, let's scale this down just a bit. Make sure this is definitely appearing like that leg is straight up and down. It certainly wasn't before. Alright, I gotta thumb through this. Alright. Okay, that foot's there. Let me try deleting that little chunk off right there. Okay. Curve this a little bit, and let's see. Oh, you know what? There is one little very subtle thing that I forgot to do. Let me see. I do have an arm position right here. It is which one of these is it? Might be in the library. Let's see if I can find this. Oh, I guess it's this one right here. Yeah, okay. And I know it's very small difference, but what it should look like is that you're seeing a little bit more through to this under part of the arm right here. So it should kind of give you the feeling that this arm is turned a little bit more toward us. Just look at this little part right here compared to that part, and that's what I wanted to use for any time he was in this one kind of extreme pose. So anyway, that is guy arm 1. I'll make sure that's in the library. You know what, I could probably even scale this arm up just a little bit. And of course, be sure the arm isn't coming off its torso like it just is there. I've gotten plenty of emails from people that say, why don't you just show us how to do a whole minute? Or do a whole short cartoon. And I'm having trouble getting through 12 frames in an hour. So I don't think I'll be doing that anytime soon. Okay. Let's do this. Let's test this thing. Because I need to stop the video and just publish this myself. All right, I'm going to pause this, and when I come back, I'll be in progress too. And on your end, take a look at where I'm at with this. Look at this progress1.swf. I mean, it's actually looking pretty good. So. Okay, that was looking pretty good so far. This is progress 2, of course, now, and one other little thing I changed in the meantime was I did put this shadow underneath here. I just took it off the layer that it was shared with all the other keyframes. We'll worry about it later. And what else did I do? Oh, I just put a couple more lines up here by the head so we can kind of take a little bit better note of his height. And so let's look at this. Between this frame and this one, we're going to be moving this guy generally upwards, and obviously sliding his legs back a little bit. It looks like, though, just comparing the two, this front leg should definitely be a little bit more forward. So let's just go ahead and grab the foot and the entire leg itself. Let's scale it up to about 110% of what it currently is at. In fact, you know what? I am going to scale the pant leg a little bit just separately. And yeah, I think that's a little bit better, because we do have to plug in, 2 whole frames, not that many, between here and here. And if you just look at that leg, it doesn't look like it would be going far enough. Okay, so keyframe right there on frame number 2. And yes, let's let the body guide us. So let's just move this whole thing up a couple frames, a few pixels there, and let's do this. Take this leg along with it for the ride, and let's move that up a little bit. These leg symbols are really easy to alter. So what I'm going to do real quick is go to duplicate symbol, and I've probably got to call this something like leg at least 5 or 6, because there's quite a few already in the library, and that is taken already. Let's try 6. And now I'm just going to double click in here, and I did leave the vector art as strokes in here, so just going to slightly move this over a little bit, move that a tad bit too. Okay, and we'll begin to slowly straighten that out. And you can see as I kind of just toggle between the 2 frames there, it's just very subtle, but in the long run we should notice it. All right, let's bump this leg up a bit, and let's do this. Getting some crazy iTunes warning. Okay, let's also duplicate this symbol, and again, I guess we're up to 7 now. And on this one, let's double click inside, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I might need a bit finer control. I'm going to move this point to right here, and move this a bit out like this, and then just round this down. So it's kind of like we're just almost like if you were looking at someone sitting down from an aerial view, you would only be able to see the top part of their knee, I should say their thigh, and so like this would be the knee part right here, and the whole bottom part of the leg would be getting covered up. So that is kind of the viewpoint of that. And it might be a little bit more obvious if I were to move the foot to like right about there. Okay, and let's just take a look at that. Alright, I could probably bring the foot down just a bit. I don't want to make it seem like the guy's into a running pose. But, you know, it is animation. We can exaggerate a few things. Alright, so let's do this. Let's go and let's flip the tie up a little bit. Keep that thing going. As for the arms, I guess I will try to swap in some of these bent arm positions. So let's do this. We will going to go to swap symbol, and we'll try that one. I'm going to just move that back a bit. Let's see. So it's almost like you don't see it too much. And what do we got to do with this arm? This arm's not going to change too much, but let's see. I don't want to start moving it back yet. Let's move it, let's scale it up just a little bit. Something like that. So even though, let's see. Yeah, that's probably alright. In fact, I might even skew it down with the hand just a tad bit. Alright. And let me look at this one last time. Let's move this. Okay, so on to frame 3. Let's hit F6. Let's take a look at frame 4 real quick. Alright, so we got to bump the body up a little bit. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll take this leg with it. As for this leg right here, let's, well, we can move it up a little bit, but let's also go ahead and just duplicate this again. And double click inside. Just straighten these out a little bit more. And we'll deal with the actual scaling of it back up here in the main timeline. And let's see. Bring the foot up there too, and let's start to squish down this part. Alright, so I'm just thumbing through here, taking a look at this, and I specifically I got my eye focused on that leg, and I think we're doing okay with it. I think by frame 3 here we can go ahead and switch the vest to that middle position. So I'm going to go and swap it for vest number 2. This arm needs to start coming back, so let's swap this one out for that one right there. By the way, if you spotted a few more symbols in the library that are not in yours, that's just because those were parts of my logo. Forgot to take those out. Alright, so let's start to make this arm just a little bit smaller. And let me take a look at this. Alright, so let's see, the vest turns. Might want to duplicate this. I don't think we have a symbol yet for it already. Let's just call it 6. And what I'm going to do is just turn this part, make it a little bit straighter. And as I scrub through here, I'm going to try to keep my eye on that arm. the right arm. Let's see. Okay, it should do all right. Let's switch this collar though. Flip that horizontally. And move the tie over. Let me zoom in a bit. And let's start to pull this arm forward. So I'm going to zoom this up, bring it up this way. So let's see. All right, arm's going back a little bit there. Let's move it up. Kind of give the impression that this one shoulder right here is maybe coming up a little bit more forward than this one. So it's like this part's dipping down. If you really wanted to accentuate something like that, you could always just grab the whole torso like so and scale it down. And who knows, maybe we'll try that when everything is all said and done. Okay, so it looks like I moved this tie over just a little bit too much. I'm actually on the 4th frame right now. Let me move this over there. Okay. All right. Skipping around a little bit. I apologize. Okay, so let's look at this. From frame 2 to 3 is looking all right, and from frame 3 to 4, that's turning okay, I think. We do need to make a little change on this one back leg right here. So let's go and let's take this same leg and this foot. I'm just going to copy them from frame 4 and delete what's currently on frame 3 here, and then paste in place those two items. I'm going to rotate this a little bit and move them behind this part of the leg, and then just scale them a tad bit. Move that down some, and let me see how this will look. Okay, so let's look at that leg. Yeah, that should be okay because this leg is going to snap out coming kind of this way. So I think that'll be all right. I still feel like this leg on frame 1 could even be a little bit bigger. Let's go and just move that down. And I'm going to scale it up to about 104%. Okay, so again, reiterating why a minute-long animation just won't be seen on this website. All right, so we are at frame 5. Let's put a keyframe right here, and let's continue to send this leg backward. We can use the same straight position right here, and actually, you know what? Do we? Yeah. Okay. Making sure that was the straight one. And I'm going to scale it up that way. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. Scale it at 90%. I guess doing those numerical type-ins for scaling is probably not that bad of an idea. I just realized it, but at least you guys get to know exactly what I am scaling these things at. Okay, I did delete off that little top chunk of the foot, and let's scale this down a bit too. We'll see if that gives the impression that the foot is kind of sliding under. I hope it does. Okay, so it's coming up. And this foot right here continues to move forward. You know what, though? I did forget to move the body at all. Let's do this. Let's push it up just not too much, but just a little bit more. And looks like I probably moved this leg a little bit too much. Let's take it from here, and there we go. Okay. What I'm going to do here is duplicate this leg, and we're probably up to about leg number 8. Oops, I typed in 48. And all I'm going to do here is, well, first rotate it a bit. Let's move it right there. And double click inside. I'm going to take this bottom part of the leg and just move it so it seems like it's right ready to kind of pop out straight ways like this. Just take this down some. We'll put the foot right about there. Scale that up a little bit. And make sure that these parts do connect right here. Okay, that should be alright. And let's see. Let's keep the tie moving a little bit. Put that over there. Put this over here. And so this arm is moving back. Let's just scale it at 90%. Push it back that way. And for this one, let's kind of just do the opposite. Put it up at 105 though. Oh, I'm on the wrong frame. Sorry. Oh, it's on the wrong frame for both of those. Okay, sorry about that. 90% and 105. Alright. That's probably enough for this frame. So let's go ahead and hit F6 on frame number 6. And for this one, let's see. Start to move them down just a little bit. Let's take this leg and with the shoe on there, I'm going to scale and rotate this down to 90%. It's back like that. And actually I'm going to move it up a little bit too. Alright. It's almost looking like this crazy little peg leg at this point. But remember, the next frame after this, it's got to kind of realistically bend into this position. So it does need to get back there pretty small. And let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to also duplicate this, and we'll make this leg number 9. Let's jump inside here, and going to just make these legs just a little bit thinner like that. Okay. And as for the shoe, let's start to make it look like this is almost getting ready to lift off the ground. So I'm going to make this really thin. So I know it seems kind of crazy, but if you just keep your eye on that one leg, I think it's going to work. One thing too that I want to do is take off that one little leg, that part. There we go. Might be a little too thin though. Okay. And this leg right here. Let's go ahead and we'll copy this leg right at this position. I'm going to then step back to frame 6. I'm going to delete this off, paste in place that leg. I'm going to bump it up to here. And then I'm going to duplicate it. We'll call this leg number 10. And let's go ahead and get the foot out of the way too. Double click inside of here. I'm going to straighten out these legs a little bit. I'm going to move these points down to about this line, maybe a little bit above. And the pant bottom can curve like that, that's okay. And then let's just squeeze these in a little bit. Alright, now for this foot, let's just scale it up. Let's see, we're close. Let's do this. Let's bring the whole leg and just move it up a little bit that way. And I'm just going to copy this shoe that I had before and just delete that off. I'm going to bring this little top part of the foot and just paste it on top there. Let's see. Okay, so it should look like he's stepping forward, and then that's when he actually steps down. So this foot would be hovering off the ground just slightly, like maybe I can kind of bring the shadow forward, so it almost be like, yeah, that shadow might give the impression that he's not actually hit the ground yet. Okay, and there he goes. Boom, finally hits it. And when he does, this leg back here lifts off, and it looks like we got a little bit more work to do with the arms, of course. Let's just select these, and I'm going to scale this one down to 85%. This arm I'm going to switch out for that one that's just a little bit tilted forward, guy arm 1. And let's see, scale it up a little bit. In fact, 105. Okay. I'm trying to look at the tie right now. Okay, let me rotate this over here. I want to keep that tie moving because, well, moving well because it's a good secondary animation. Okay, and same kind of deal with the hands too. At this frame, frame 4, I'm just going to tilt that in there like so. And at frame 5, I'm going to rotate it a little bit too. So if you just keep your eye on that hand, it goes back, comes forward again. Boom, 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 that's good. So it's almost like he's, in some ways, just swimming through the air a little bit, like almost like how you'd paddle if you're paddling in a boat or a canoe, just waving at the water like that. All right, so we are halfway through this. Well, we've only got 4 more frames to go. That's not too bad. I guess since we are at the midway point, let's go ahead and save this out as progress 3, and that way you guys can take a look at this guy walking. I guess I could show you too. Let's see. Let's go ahead and knock the frame rate down to 4 and watch this guy slowly come across. You know what? I can see something right now that I don't really dig. We're gonna put that back up. Let's see. This arm. Keep your eye on this left arm right here. I feel like there's a little bit too little movement going on between here and here, and that's easy fix. Let's just take this whole arm and just send it back like that. And now let's look at it. So it's bump, bump, bump. Starting to come forward again. There we go. And I think too, if I really wanted to be a great animator, I'd put in one more vest. That's kind of between this pose right here, vest 3, and vest 2. So maybe during the break I'll fiddle around with that, and in progress 3 we'll include that in there. Okay, so I'm going to save this out, and I will be right back. Okay, back with progress file number 3, and we are on frame 8. So let's punch a keyframe right there. We are moving this guy upward, so let's go ahead and just give him a few pixels up this way. And let's take a look at what the legs are going to be doing. This leg right here is going backwards, so let's go ahead and set that in. You know what, there's a lot of legs we can actually just kind of steal from the last time we did this. In fact, you know what, let's go ahead and take this, and this, and this, and head back over to here. I'm just going to paste them right over this way. We'll flip them, and let's see if we can kind of get these in place of these other ones here. In fact, you know what, let's just try to do something like this. That might actually work. Let's delete out what we don't need now. And this we will send behind that shape. And let's move this down just a little bit. Looks like I still got one foot on there. Okay. And just trying to compare the two. I think that will work for us. Let's take this arm and just bend it a little bit more back this way. As for this one, we'll keep this going forward just a little bit, maybe scaled up to 103. And actually, let's do this. Let's we can keep it scaled up, but let's swap out this arm for guy arm number 2. That way we'll start to at least get it turning back a little bit. In fact, you know what? On this key pose right here, let's go ahead and do this now. Let's put this arm back behind the body like that. So I think now what we have is on both of our two key poses, which should have been this other one right here at 4. At least our two middle key poses. The arms are both kicked back like that. So if I were to go and flip back and forth and compare the two, they would look pretty similar, wouldn't they? Alright, so okay, so that's going back. As for the tie, let's see, the direction of this is still going this way. Oh, and by the way, did I already forget to mention this? That I did actually go and add that this one right here, that 4th vest. I did forget to talk about that. Let's see, I swapped that in at what frame? Oh, at this middle one right here. I just decided that was the place for it. In fact, you know what? We can go ahead and put it at this frame as well. And that's an easy place to remember because that's when both arms are behind the body like this. He's kind of puffed out, and so the buttons are pretty much straight like that. Oh, I did add one other thing too, which was to I put in a second collar, and actually I haven't put that in the this animation yet, because what I was doing is I was kind of thumbing through this and looking. There's almost a point right here where the collar kicks back. I don't like that. Let's see. Let's do this. At this frame, actually on all these frames where the buttons are sharply tilted like that, let's go and swap out this other collar. So I'm going to do this over here as well. And over here. So we got a bit of a collar adjusting we have to do here. A little unrealistic as the head doesn't, it's not actually turning or tilting with it. Although that wouldn't be the hardest thing to do either. At least certainly not to turn the head more this direction, because really all you'd have to do is just break apart this symbol and then just shift over some of the face features with it. And you know what, let's do this. Let's take this one arm. I'm sorry, I hate to be going back like this, but you change one thing and then suddenly you feel like you gotta change a few more. So I'm just moving that over. You know, these are things you might not even have to do on your end, because maybe you did them more correctly than I did. Alright, so I think that's going a bit better now. And let's put a keyframe right here. Let's take this leg and let's go ahead and swap it out for that one that is mostly standing up straight. I think it is guy leg number 8. And I'm just going to scale this and skew it a little bit that way. In fact, you know what? Let's take it down to about 97%. As for this leg, let's go and let's take this right here. In fact, I'll grab that foot with it. So I'm just going to delete this off, paste that, and rotate it. I guess that this frame, I'll keep it back behind the leg though. Maybe tilt it in just a little bit. Let me take a look at the pose right before that. Let's see. Well, I got to move up the body too, but let's do that now. Yeah, let's rotate this a little bit more, and let's take this foot and bring it up some too. In fact, you know what? Maybe let's just take this. That's right. This leg makes kind of a sharp little turn like that, but that might be okay because we're kind of turning the body there with it. So hopefully we can get away with that. Let's see, what are we going to do with these arms? Let's go and let's swap out this arm here for that one arm I made during the lesson, which was, I think, 6, yeah. It's just got a little bit of a straighter edge on that one side. And let's go and tilt that out this way. That's for this arm. Let's make it a bit bigger. Let's say 110% at least. Let's go ahead and tilt that a little bit. Let me take a look at this. Okay, that goes back, coming forward. Alright, we'll see how it goes. The only thing we do need to adjust though is the tie, and we'll just turn that this way. Okay, so we have our pose for 10 already. That was there from before. So let's go ahead and put a keyframe here for frame number 11. And let's see, we are going to be moving the body up. This leg, we already have a good leg right there. It's this one that's starting to come down a little bit. Let's go ahead and take that and the foot with it. Oops, there we go. delete those off. Whoops. You know what? I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, about 105. And as for this foot, this one's starting to get pretty small. Let's go and take it down to maybe 93%. We'll go and do that super tiny leg in a little bit in the next frame. Okay, let me just see how this is looking. Should be alright. Let's go and make these arms a little bit smaller. We'll go 95% on this arm, and let's go and make this 105 over here. And let me just take a look at frame 1. Okay. Yeah, and I do realize that I'm not using these arms right here. You know what, I tried my best, but like I'll show you what started to happen was they started coming in like this, and I don't know, it ended up in this really kind of flamboyant position. So almost like he was like smacking his rear on the way back. So they just weren't working out for me. And I was trying to go for like not the most macho looking cowboy figure here, because he doesn't have his pistol and he doesn't have a big macho cowboy hat, and he doesn't look that macho to begin with, but I don't really want him to be, I don't know, too fancy. Alright, so let's see. I think we will just adjust the tie here. I've kind of forgotten where this tie is going anyway. Let's see. Let me watch it from the beginning. Okay, then we send it back over here. And that neck is doing something weird. Hold on a sec. Let me rotate it back this way. Actually, I didn't rotate it. I'm sorry. I just flipped it horizontally. There we go. Okay. And right here, let me switch this one out. And goes down. Alright, tie's going back there. Maybe I'll just rotate this one. Whatever. Okay, F6, and this will be our final keyframer. We really do a lot of difference. We might add in a couple more later, but I'm going to swap in this leg for leg, let's try 9. That was a little very thin one. Scale it a little bit that way, and let's see, let's just scale this to about 90%. Let me take a look at frame 1. Just trying to get a feel for this. Bump, bump, bump. Okay. And let's go grab that leg that we already made right over here. So I'm just going to copy that and that. And come back over to here. Let's flip it horizontally. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. I feel like everything on this one side of the body needs to be just a little bit bigger than the other side. Which makes sense. We are seeing him closer from this one side. Just slightly. Alright, where's that shoe? There it is. Okay. And let's see, I kind of forgot to take the whole body up some. Let's go ahead and let's see, we will Let's rotate the chest. Alright, so vest number 3. This arm we can send back a little bit. It's probably fine to just make it a bit smaller. For this arm, let's go ahead and swap it for guy arm 6 and put it in front of the body here. I think it's working alright. Let's take a look at it with the frame rate down to 4. Alright, let's see. Kind of got to just watch every little part of the body and take a look. So if you just watch a leg for a little bit, you'll notice good or bad things happen. Let's see. Something weird going on with this arm. Let's see. This one right here. And I guess it's not there. Let's see. It's hard to catch. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Anyway, I think what you could do now is you could either say, hey, it's done, or if you wanted, you could probably add in, well, you could swap out any of these arms if you just want to play around a little bit. Another thing you could do, though, is maybe when he hits down like this, these poses, just go and hit F5 out this way. So you add in one, insert in one frame. Hit F6 right here, and then just scale the whole body down a little bit. And you don't want any point though where he's not walking. So if you do that, then I would say just be sure you also kind of keep this motion going of him, of his feet going somewhere. Okay. So for example, you could then maybe make that go up a little bit. Let's see. Maybe just make the whole thing go down a little bit there. And definitely do some with the hands. Let me see how that looks. Okay. And boom. Okay. Let's keep an eye on the legs. Let's see. I think I did the wrong thing though. Let me check this out. I'm gonna make that one a bit bigger. Okay. I'm gonna have that come down. I think I should duplicate this leg. I probably already have another good one, but I'll just make a new one here. Just gonna make this straight. There we go. So it's like this leg ends up hitting straight out like that, and then he's still leaning for, like he's gonna kind of lean forward on just a bit there. It moves the leg back just a bit, the foot back just a bit, and then he's like kind of really pushing forward off it now. So you see how that's working? All right, and I think I could do something similar over here on this end. So let me add in one more frame over here. I'm going to hit F6, bring the whole body down a bit, even scale it some like I did before, and then I'm going to paste in that leg that I made. Make this a bit bigger. 10. I probably made that too big. Let's go back down a little bit. Oh, you know what? Oh, shoot. I meant to make that frame 1. Alright. Bear with me. Just swapping these 2 frames. Okay, there we go. And boom. And maybe when he goes down like that, the tide just kind of flips up a little bit. I think I forgot to adjust that tie right there too. Okay, let's see how this looks. Alright, I think it's good. Alright, there's one thing. Oh, I gotta deal with this. It's when this leg comes down on this side. Where is that? Yeah, there it is. Take a look at these. Take a look at this right arm. So it's like it comes down, comes up, and then it almost goes back down again. So let's do this. See if we can get away with just scaling it a bit. Okay. Now let's see what happens. It's still not as smooth as I want, but you know what? I could sit here and do this all day. It's just one of those things. We got to abandon it. What I'm going to do is save this as the finished file. I'm going to tuck all this into one symbol, and I'll return momentarily. Alright, well, since that took us an entire hour to do, let's at least have a little fun with this guy toward the end here. We got them all in one symbol here. Of course, I just copied all the frames and then pasted them into a new symbol. Let's go and put maybe 60, 70 frames out this way. I'm going to hit F6. And let's just do a motion tween. I click this. Gotta sneeze once. Everybody has to do that. And so he's a little bit smaller now. Let's tint him. There we go. So he'll be coming forward like this. And then here toward the end, we'll just put a few more frames so you can just kind of stay walking for a little bit. And I'm going to set the frame rate down so this doesn't look silly. Alright. So here's our guy coming at us. I did forget to put that shadow in eventually, but that's okay. I'll let you guys figure that one out. Not too difficult. Alright. And again, there's definitely small things I would change about this, but overall I think it's a nice little front walk cycle. I haven't done one of these in a very long time. And actually I should say that when I got hired at my the first animation studio I worked at, I don't think I had more than maybe one walk cycle in my entire portfolio. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably tougher getting a job now, but still, it just goes to show you that you know, I mean, what you do in these lessons, I mean, it might just kind of seem like silly practice, but at the same time, you never know what it's going to be that impresses somebody and just decides, hey, you are the person for the job. So even if you feel like, this is okay, it's not the best work in the world, but you never know. I mean, what you do seems like magic to people that can't do these things. So keep that in mind. All right, I got to figure out something else to do in the rest of this lesson that's not going to take too much time. So I'll be back momentarily. Okay, so open up this sneaky walk start file, and I would say consider this kind of to be the your final challenge lesson for this. Actually, every single walk cycle is a challenge, but I think this one's more so of one just because it involves a little bit more rotating of the body, and I don't know. I just found it to be difficult, and actually, what you guys will get to do is see me struggle through this, and not in real time. What I'm going to do is play a video. It's sped up about 3 to 4 times, and we'll get to watch me work through this, and it'll be a little bit better because instead of having to sit here and watch me work through it for an hour, it'll be a lot less time. So anyway, you guys can start with this file, and then I will be back in a sec with the sped up video. So hold on. Okay, so you know what? Actually, I think I'm gonna just kind of scrub through this pre-recorded video, not even try to play it as super fast speed because I'm not sure you're gonna get that much out of it. You're gonna get the most probably just out of poking through the finished file with me after we look at this. But we'll talk a little bit here. This is obviously pose number 1, and it's when I started this off, I had his leg kind of touching down here, but you'll see from the start file already that I began with pose 1 as his leg a little bit more further out this way, and the body tilted back even just a little bit more. And when his legs are separated the most like this, that's when his body is kicked back. And then you'll see as the legs kind of come together, as he's creeping forward, that's when his body starts to come down and rotate forward like this. The head stays kind of rotated in about the same position. So as you're rotating the body on your own, just be sure to rotate the head back with it. So he's kind of looking forward the whole time. Let's see. And at least through this first half of the animation where where this leg is coming forward, I ended up making the arms kind of puff out a little bit, almost like a little chicken dance, and then in the back half of this animation, I just kind of kept the arms together. Reason being, who knows? It's just I thought it looked a little bit better. So let's see. I'm scrubbing through this. Okay, so this is let's see. This is the opposite of that first pose up here at frame 1. So this leg is extended out all the way. And one of the things I did actually kind of struggle with was timing out this animation and figuring out how much time needed to be put in for poses like this where, you know, is his leg reaching out? Is he kind of fumbling through as he's walking, you know, to figure out if he's running into something, or is it just going to be kind of like a smooth thing? And again, we'll watch the finished animation shortly, but let's see. So okay, as his foot has set down, he is starting to move back up again, but he's still kind of kicked back. The body rotated back this way. And let's see, let's get to another notable point. I had to adjust a lot of the clothing throughout this, and that's why I ended up with so many leg positions in that start file. I just kind of laid them all out for you. And a lot of this pre-recorded video is just me going back and scrubbing through this on my own, just trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. Let's see if we can find one of my early published versions. Oh, here we go. Here's one of them. Oh, no, maybe not. I guess a lot of times when I published it, it didn't take long to figure out that something was drastically off. Let's see what we got here. How much was done at that point? I guess about 20 frames worth, so it should have been looking okay, but it took me a while to get it right. And again, I'm going to close down scrubbing through this pre-recorded video in a little bit and show you how things eventually ended up looking good. Oh, there is one notable thing here, though, that as I was working through this, I had a hard time figuring out at what point the head was just kind of getting into a weird thing where it was coming forward and then going back and coming forward again. And when I was publishing, and actually when I was scrubbing through just on the timeline, I couldn't figure out where I was doing that. So what I eventually ended up doing was just putting a big red dot at this final frame. And that way when I could watch the video, I could at least kind of have a marker for at what point it was looping through to the end and then coming back to the beginning. So that's something you guys could try on your own too. And you can kind of see as I scrub through this, he's starting to walk. Let's see. Starting to look kind of normal. Let's do this though. Let's close down me scrubbing through here, and let's take a look at the finished file when we can really slow it down properly and give you guys a good feel for what's going on. Okay, so this is the finished file, and let's take a look at what I managed to get right. Alright, so this guy's walking along, sneaking. Yeah, there you go. That's probably seen the loop. So, again, take a look as he moves his legs together, the body comes forward, and as the leg is stretched out like that, that's when his body goes back. Okay. I kept it so that his arms only kind of I guess fold out at all during one of his that one leg right there coming forward, and then for the other one, I just left his arms kind of tight. So I think it kind of gives the impression that I don't know, he's just like for a little bit he lets his guard down, and then like he's like, oh, gotta keep my arms back together. And let's see. Again, I think there's some good things about this, and I think that you know, if I had a year to work on it, I could perfect it. But yeah, I think it's good. And check it out in real time too. Of course, it always helps if you're not seeing it at 4 frames per second. This movie is the SWF is at a higher frame rate, and I guess if I get the initiative, I'll maybe plug in these other frames, but you don't always have to do that. Certainly, if you're just practicing, you'll get a feel for this, even with these gaps in here. But it does look weird, though, if you try to take all these frames and like copy them and put them into one big symbol and then try to motion tween that, that's when it looks weird if you have any space that something is, well, moving forward, but is hanging on a frame like this where it's just paused there momentarily, because you will see that will give you problems. I think my karate instructor would like this right here. The core moving forward. Nothing else. Alright, so what should we do here? Let me flip back to this, and again, yeah, here's all these legs laid out, and there is no real order to this. It's just, there kind of is. Obviously, you can see that these ones are more stretched out, but I guess kind of within that, it's just whatever I just went down the list and arranged them. So yeah, good luck with that. I'd actually really like to see how everybody's sneaky walk cycles turn out, because it is one of the more complicated ones, and it mostly has to do with the body really rotating within the loop too, because for everything else we've pretty much done, we left the rotation of the body alone, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Probably for that runner I could have rotated him forward a bit. I just didn't even think about it, but yeah, keep me posted on this one. Okay, so I think it's about time to wrap things up. Let's hop into this folder one more time. I did want to, some of you I'm sure have already noticed this, but in this front cycle, the finished version of this, I did add one little kind of cool thing I thought, which was to just take this entire symbol, copy it, and if you just tint it like that, and then scale it down, you can make yourself a nice little drop shadow, and you can see how that looks. Let's see. Here he goes. So he's just kind of walking along, and he's got that shadow behind him there. Easy little trick, not too difficult. Let's publish that out. And so yeah, I guess I'll leave room for an advanced walk cycle tutorial one day, but I think it's time to close this one down, the basics maybe. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a time-consuming journey, a reminder in why I don't animate too often. It does take forever. And anyway, that's it for me. I will catch you guys next time.